Okay, so I'm loading up a new game of Blueprints, and and unfortunately I cannot skip through the opening credits, but that's okay because they're not that exciting, but they're not that bad. Here we go. So I think, oh, that's Herbert. All right. So if you skip through that, this is how the game opens. Here is day one of a fresh new start of Blueprints on standard old regular difficulty. No gimmicks. Alrighty, so right now I am starting the day off. I got 50 steps and lose a step every time you proceed somewhere that is deemed a new room, a new area. So there's some outside stuff here and all these things, and obviously it all plays into the larger puzzle, but here we go. We're just going to start off a typical one. So grab these guys, blueprints, grab this one time on your first day, and it lets you hit our let you hit the lets you hit the right trigger and pop open your menu here. So let's cruise around here. So there's three doors. You'll notice like we're in the entrance hall here, and we'll call it A, B, C, D, E on the grid, and then 1 to 9 from the bottom to the top. Where the antechamber is at the top, we'll call that 9. So we're in C3 right now in the entrance hall. So there's this nice little letter here that your uncle has left you. Read this, I'm not going to. And then from here, we just start moving. So we pick any of these doors, pop this one open, and I'm going to start building. So I am not going to divulge any strategy or anything along the lines of that are gimmies, but I'm just going to kind of demo through this, and you can kind of see what I'm doing here. So if I go through this door, this will take me to the outer wall. And this is where the RNG factor comes into play, where you're going to get 3 rooms, or you're going to draft. Each time you draft against a door, and you have to basically pick which one you want to use. Your resources are essentially as follows. You have your number of steps, and when you run out, your day's over. You have keys, which unlock locked doors. You have gems, which you use as almost rerolls, and also as currency to pay for um, more advanced rooms that you pull through the RNG. And then you have money. So what we're going to do here is pop open this one. So this bedroom comes with a little bonus. It gives you 2 extra steps every time you enter it. But the kicker there is it costs you a step to get in, and it costs you a step to get out. This is a trunk. You use keys to open this. And I'm moving on. So we're going to build. So we're going to move fast. So we're going up here. I'm throwing a spare room. Really isn't much to this room. And we're just going to keep going. The pantry. Pantry says it'll give you 4 coins. As well as, if you pop this open, there'll be some fruit in here, or some food. The room offerings are typically the same. So the rooms themselves, the floor plans themselves, they don't RNG. They're not random. So it's really just the only random factor is when you hit a door, this right here. You'll see that some of this stuff can be sort of controlled a little bit, but you definitely get challenged by the randomness the higher you go up in the tier. So right now we're at rank 3. So we got pantry, den, and then down this lower right corner you see den, tells you the room name, and then tells you what rank. So we're rank 3. As you proceed north, things get dicier. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to kind of just fill out these rooms. We're going to collect some stuff. My nook. Right? And each room in your deck here, it's nice, that's random. Coupon book, save $1 on each purchase you make in the estate. Buy 10 hamburgers, get 1 free t-shirt. So every room can be pulled 1 time. So the nook, we just pulled the nook. Nook is now out of our drawing pool. So what we're going to do here is find a nice balance of building a house that makes somewhat sense. Connectivity, just in case we have to run back through it again. Again, I'm not like divulging any strategy, but basically, like, if you make a maze, you're going to have to deal with a maze if you got to go back. So you got to find a balance between sanity and practicality. So I just threw a closet down. And in the closet, we have 2 items in the closet. So I got this coin purse that says every time I get $3, I get an extra $1. And I got a reroll die, which will let me reroll the floor plans 1 time. So that's a dead end, that closet. It goes nowhere. It just killed my path. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back here. I did that intentionally knowing that the closet has some stuff in it. And I'm going to keep building. So let's see, courtyard. So the courtyard will go straight and go right. Costs me a gem. That's the first gem requirement floor plan that I've had so far. I don't have any gems, so I don't get to use the courtyard. So a couple things you could do here. You could use the reroll now and hope to expand the path onward, or I could gamble, close the path, get these feet. There's 10 steps here in this room. See if there's anything else in here. There's a letter. Let you read the letter. Play. Yeah, so I took my 10 steps. I'm back up to 50 steps now. I did that knowing that I have the den up here, up in C4. I'm going to wander my ass up to. Okay. And I'm going to gamble here on the door, being something that will let me pass to the next level. So ideally what you want to try to do is on the floor, you want to go north, right? Because you want to get to the antechamber. But you also want to try to collect stuff as you go. So if you just rush up the floor plan grid to the north right away, odds are you're going to run into difficulties. So it would have been nice if I would have pulled something like the security room here, where I could go left, right, or up. Ideally, that's the ideal state. So what we're going to do here is, if I throw the storeroom down, my game's over. I can't progress anymore in my current state, so I'm going to grab the parlor, which had a puzzle piece on it, which tells you this is a puzzle room. So there's a puzzle here, there's a wind-up key, there's a couple letters here you can read. That wind-up key goes with this puzzle, and basically if you solve this puzzle, you get a couple of gems. So the whole idea being, if you know the game, that's at least one statement has to be true and at least one statement has to be false, but not all the statements can be true and not all the statements can be false. So it's this logic game that gets harder and harder the more you kind of progress. So yeah, so we're saying this statement appears on another box, the box is empty, this statement appears on another box. So we know this is true because this is true. It means those two are true, which means this one cannot be true because that would make all three true, which means this white one's false, which means the blue box is empty. So there should be gems in here. And there are. Alright. So those are randomized, but they do get progressively harder the more and more you do. Okay, so here's our first lock door. We have one key, thank God. So we're going to pop this open. Otherwise our run would be over. And we're going to start spreading it out. So I'm going to throw the dining room down, which lets us go back south and fill in some of those gaps we got. And then we also go north to the next rank, which would be rank 6. So I know that going back down ranks, if we came from that direction, likely has a better chance of me not running into things like locked doors and shit that's going to throw us for a loop. So heading south in the kitchen. The kitchen gives you a menu. It tells you what's on the main course today in the dining room. And the menu gives you a couple options. So this gives you steps. You get 3 steps here, 15 steps, and then this is saying you get 10, and then you also get this. You get to add the morning room into basically your deck of cards that you can pull out of. So we're going to hold on to this. We don't need that right now. And then if you check, come back here real quick. We check the dining room. The dining room tells you, like, so each day a meal is served in the dining room after you reach rank 8. Basically, this is like, hey, man, if you make it all the way up to rank 8, dinner is served, get your ass back here. There'll be, like, some sort of food here. And the kitchen here, which doesn't always connect to the dining room. I don't know. It's kind of random. This tells you the main course. The main course is going to be glazed salmon today. So we're going to keep going. Right now, looking at this, what I'm worried about is I'm worried about running into a locked door. If I run into a locked door, I don't have any other means. Well, I lied. I do have the one door in the dining room that goes north, but I have a feeling that's locked because it's going to head up to tier 6 already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this dark room. Can't see the floor plans already. Red rooms are typically punishing. So if you draft a red room, you throw it down. Like this room, the lights just went off, so you can't see what in the hell's going on in here. And that door is locked. And this door is open. And in the dark room, you can't see your floor plans. So, if this was the only path that I had left, for instance, the risk I take here is this could be a dead end, and then my run is done. So, what I'm going to do is, knowing I have a locked door over there, and then I got the dining room up there that's also probably locked. Really, we're just going to hope for the best here. And, okay, so we just drew the weight room. Draw the weight room, you lose half your steps. Not a good room to draft. However, each of these red rooms have a catch-22. There is a benefit to pulling these that I will not get into. Like for instance, the archives tells you what it is. While drafting, you will no longer be able to see all three of your potential floor plans. So for the rest of the run, you only get to see 2 floor plans. But the benefit here is you have 4 doors on the archives, and it doesn't cost anything. So it's a really badass floor plan to throw out. You just gotta pay for it with basically the ability to view a third of your floor plans. So this is a dead end anyways, so what I'm going to do is just throw it out here. It doesn't really matter, and I'll show how there's some stuff in here, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, so you can... What was I doing here? Alright, yeah, so let's go back. And not what I was saying, but essentially I'm going to try to I'm going to throw the security room down. I have 1 gem. I'm really low on resources right now. Nice little cutscene for you. I'm going to skip it. Alright, so we're in this security room. A bunch of cameras. Just looking at stuff all over the house, and you have a little computer here. Computer lets us do a number of things. What I'm going to do here is the security room controls the security doors. So what we're going to do is we're going to, right now what I'm doing is lowering the frequency that will run into a security door. You need key cards for security doors. And I'm also going to default the system, like Jurassic Park style, that when the system goes offline, fucking Newman, that everything's going to unlock. So if I can figure out how to do all that stuff, I'll unlock all of the doors that are security doors. They need a security pass. And they should be less frequent now that I lowered the whole shebang. So, is that this way? Now, I know I'm heading back south again, and I know I'm low on resources, so I'm going to throw a storeroom here, knowing that I'm going to grab one of those, I'm going to grab a key, and I'm going to grab one of those. And there's a pile of dirt here that I can't do anything with. And let's keep moving. Alright, so my biggest concern now is I lost half my steps back in the weight room. So now I'm only down to 11 steps, and I got a ways to go. If this was... if I only had a single run, this is extremely challenging at this point to probably do. So what I'm thinking now is that knowing where I am at this moment, I'm going to start thinking for the future, right? I'm going to start planning ahead for knowing that day 2 is probably going to be a lot better than day 1. And I have 1 key, so I know I can probably pop open that dining room door if it is locked. So I'm going to drop this garage here. And the garage is going to give me 3 keys. So we got 3 keys. And there's some stuff in here. Some clues. There's a car. Some other things. And yeah, so we're going to head back to the dining room. And mind you, I am flying through this just to kind of show this demo. There is a ton of stuff that is going on that I am basically ignoring to not reveal any hints or anything. Alright, so it was unlocked, which is good. And we have 4 keys now. We got 1 reroll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reroll just to be confident that I'm going to land something that will let me progress. So I got a maze chamber here. It's a red room. It's also a bedroom. There's a little purple on it. But I'm going to throw this down. Now, the negative effect of this room is you find less random things throughout the house. So money, fruit, keys, coins, like anything. Like you can find that stuff as you move through here. When you drop the maid's chamber, she cleaned up the damn house, so there's nothing laying around. Alright, so here's my locked door. Good thing I got those keys. Alright, and now we're into dead-end territory again. So if I throw the boudoir out, that door's gonna back into the parlor, run over to the utility closet. In this situation, I wouldn't want to do that. Run over, and then I have this archive floor plan with no rerolls. So I could do a couple of things here. I know. Yeah, so I'm just going to throw down this archive floor plan. Okay, boom, and that's it. So this is a dead end. We ran into a bathroom. We're going to take a big, hefty shit in this can, and then fucking start day 2. There you go. That is my first day in full of blueprints, and then I'll call it a day voluntarily now that I know I'm dead ended out. And there are there are a number of things that I did not do. Just kind of flying through this, it was very simple. I will tell you this, that had I done the things that I know how to do, we'd still be in really good shape and moving, progressing north with some good stuff. So all that will come, tons of secrets, and that is my walkthrough for you. So talk to you soon.